Okay, so we've now looked at all to add figures and schemes and tables into Word using the auto captioning function. But now let's say, for example, you want to have a multi-level figure. So meaning a figure that has, so IR spectra of A, acetone, then B, let's say acetic anhydride, and C, something else. What's another carbonyl group? Can't think of one now, actually. That's awkward. Acetic acid. Okay. So you now want to have that. So how are you going to include the A, B, and C parts underneath your figure? So if you look at a textbook or something like that, they usually have the figure and then an A underneath it and a B and a C underneath them. So the way I do it is I insert a table and just take out the lines. So if you go insert table, and we would like to have a 3x2 table. So in other words, because we want to have 3 images or 3 figures and places for the A, B, and C to stand. So if that doesn't make sense for the moment, please just bear with me. So what we want to do is we want to take that picture. So I'm going to cut it, Control X, paste it there. Okay, and imagine these are 3 different images. And I want them to be A, then I go to this cell, B, and I go to this cell, C. Okay. And well, I mean, that already looks sort of like a figure. So you have your A, B, and C, you have your different ones there. But now, how do we make this nice and pretty? Oh. So then, when you hover over a table, you'll see that this comes up. So there's little 4 arrows pointing in different directions. You need to click on there. Then the table design should pop up at the right here in light blue. So you go table design, and you want to edit the borders, and you don't want any borders. So you take away the borders. Okay. And then go layout. Then you're looking for the align center one. So the middle of the middle ones. There you have it. There's your figures now nicely captioned, A, B, and C. But you can see there's a little bit, so like the spacing is a bit intense, right? So it's really close below it and not really perfectly aligned. So what we can do is now you're going to highlight, so click left and drag, and you go to layout, and you can increase the height of that row. 1 centimeter is usually nice, and let's make them bold. Control B, or you can go home and you can click the B. Okay. And if we just drop the paragraph markers, then we can see we have a nice figure A, B, and a C part, and they're nicely separated. You don't see the table's lines, and it looks like you formatted this table or this image quite nicely. Of course, you can, if you need to, so now let's say, for example, you have to do 5. Okay, so how are you going to do 5? Well, usually what I do, so you want the A, B, C, and then you also want a D and E to be added to the figure. So how I do this is I now add 2, let's just put on the paragraph, so I add 2 of these, and I just insert another table, but this time a 2x2 table. We take that space. Remember that this is going to be D, that one is going to be E. In case you're wondering what I changed the whole time, it's just Control Z. So the Control Z just undoes what anything Word does that you didn't want it to do. We want it to be bold. We don't want any borders. We want them to be in the middle. And let's just copy these images for now. And then there you have it. So you can make this very small. So I'll just make this a 1. And there you have a multi-level figure. Of course, you can play around with the size of these cells to make them look better. So you see at the moment they're quite wide. So let's make them 7 centimeters. So I'm just changing these, and then I center this table. And there you have it. And you just need to remember to increase that size to 1 centimeter. Look how beautiful that looks. Now you have a multi-level figure. So of course you can do this with a scheme as well, and any kinds of figures, and that you use by editing the table. Cool. So I've also shown, now you've also learned in this video how to edit the table, how to do different border styles, how to look at the thickness. You can also change the thickness of a border of a table. Yeah, so I hope this showed you at least something. And if you want to use it, you can use it, because it's quite difficult to format the A, B, and C's using tabs and spaces and whatnot in Word. And that is when things move around. Now, no matter what you're going to put here or add afterwards, you're not going to move your table here. But if you were using the old ways of using Word, you probably would have moved something, and then one picture shifts the whole document. Okay. I'm going to add to this video a short section on just the tables and how to format a table a bit more. But so this is going to disappear now, and we're going to cut to that video. Okay, so let's quickly just look at how to format tables specifically. So I took us back to our table we inserted way in a previous video. And now again, we click there, so we hover over the table, you click there, you go table design. So now let's say, for example, you want to do something, you want to have thicker borders. And then you can go here to borders, borders and shading. You can choose the thickness of the borders you would like. Don't be ridiculous, but you know, have something nice and format it using that. So then all your borders are going to be that thick. Let's just undo that. You can also alternatively do one border at a time. So let's say, for example, you want to highlight cells or do whatever. You can also add shadings to a specific row. So you highlight the row, you add a shading by clicking on the shading button. You can make it colorful to whatever you would like to do. You can also merge cells. So let's say, for example, you want to put something at the top here that's going to be one column. Then you go to layout, merge cells. Where do you want it? You want it in the middle of that cell. So then we're going to type something. Okay. And this, for example, then goes with, oh my word, something. Something with an A, a B, and a C. We also want these to be in the center of the cell. We actually want all of them to be in the center of the cell. They're all in the center of the cell. And then this one, I don't know, we want these cells to be merged. So we take that, and we want to change the text direction. So we're still in layout, we go to text direction, you've changed it. You also want it to be in the middle of the cell. This also says something. Okay. So then you can play around. So now you can highlight these ones. You can add a nice border to them. You have a border for that one and a border for that one. So you see these cells sort of stand out. This is an outline. Typically in a journal, they don't like it if you use too many lines. So if you take this is insert another table. So again, insert table. So let's have a few rows. What they like you to do is so you take out all the borders and you only put top and bottom borders that's thick. So the top row gets a bottom border and a top border, and the bottom border just gets a bottom border, or bottom cell. The bottom cells gets a bottom border, and that's then what you have. So then you have here A, B, C, D, and you have some text values 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and these will then display in the table as such. Of course, now you have the tools to format the table a bit, so you can make it look pretty. You can, for example, have these ones aligned to the left and in the middle, and these ones are all middle aligned. You can play, for example, this row can have a nice little highlight, so you can make it light gray. This one also has to be sort of something, so you make it light blue, and then you have information here. So be creative, play around with your tables. You can also just normally use the tables if you'd like for 382, but you're going to need something similar to what I've shown here for one of the assignment questions. So this was just to show you how to get the text in a different way, to merge cells and get different thickness and of course coloring your cells, just in case you did not know. Okay, I'll see you then in the next video.